Let it Let it Let it
Good evening. Let's see who's coming on. Good evening. Good evening, soulmates as well. Let's see which way I'm going to make this better or worse. Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. Nope, that's not going to work. Excuse me a minute. Let it out. Let it out. See if we're going to get anywhere this way. Yeah, that's a lot better for me. I hope it is for you all. Beautiful. Hello, good evening. Welcome. Let's do a sound check. Can you hear me? Yes, Vanessa, let it out. Okay, even me, she said better. Okay, good. Good evening, Pastor Tyra. I see you, Minister Tasha. Prudence, good evening. Ramanita, Charity, Danielle, Leah, Pastor Kareem, Jerry, Overly, Diana, Elitza. All right, we're coming in tonight. Minister Gwendolyn, Lisa Palmer, Coach Maria, Elder Manny. Very good. Welcome, Coach Maria, Dawn, Audacity, Corindus, welcome. Thank you. You can hear me. Good, good, good. Awesome. All right. Ready, set, go. How we doing? How we doing, Joelle? I see Periscope, Facebook, YouTube. Some of y'all holding on, huh? You're gonna stay with Periscope until March 31st when it ends. Kamisha, good evening. Michael Tate, hey, I was thinking about you today. Ashley, good. I'm doing well. Absolutely. I'm tired today. I want to take a nice drive to this place with my husband and have lunch. I laid on that couch and I made sure he got that attitude to understand, leave me alone. So, kind of the same face I gave my apostle years ago when he sat down next to me and I knew that he was about to talk to me about some Jesus stuff. And I gave him that face, leave me alone. And guess what? Brother ain't leave me alone. Isn't that terrible? Brother did not leave me alone. Well, here we are today. Good evening, Bernard, Edith, Sylvia. All right. We're at 76. I don't know where we are on the individual pieces, but we're going to go ahead and jump in. Everyone knows that 8 o'clock is the hour. And I even give y'all like 4 minutes to get to y'all seats and settle down before we come on. So how are we doing today? Let's start out with the roll call. How many did their 30 for 30 today? 30 and 30. Let me see your hands. 30 and 30. Are you there? Okay. YouTube, Ebony says 30 for 30. F. Y'all know the scores. All right, elder sir. Now, come on. I ain't going to take too many of those. Keisha, get them babies in that stroller and get out there. Now I'm seeing some A's come through. That makes me feel a lot better. Good evening, balance, living, excellence. Building up to it. Okay, awesome. I'll take that. And I love you. Oh, don't cry, Sylvia Anderson. Was that Sylvia or Sophia Anderson? Your name went by quickly, but don't cry. No tears. Now, I want to ask you this question. And I need to ask it honestly. I don't want you to just answer like on a hypothetical answer. Do you think that you struggle working out because you still don't understand the importance of it? Or do you think you struggle working out because you really don't love yourself enough to make it a priority? Is it number one or number two? Are you not working out because you're just not convinced of the benefit of it yet? You know, if you were convinced of it, you would definitely do it. So you're just like, I mean, I know it's good for me. I know it's healthy, but you know, I walk during the day at my job. Is that kind of why you do it? Or do you do it because you really have to admit, I do not love myself enough because it's just not a priority to me. I want to do it. I desire to do it, but I just don't see it as a priority. Right. So see, we're still battling with the self-love. Thank you for your honesty. Thank you for your honesty. I bless you for your honesty. I had spoken with a couple of daughters today, and they both had trying life situations today. And I worked right through the automatic thought log with them. And we went all the way down to, we finished weighing out the thought. We went through the distorted thinking. The distorted thinking is the labeling, the assuming, the personalizing, over catastrophizing, over generalizing, blaming. We went through all of that. We found all the labels. They were shocked to know that there was even labels there. And then we went over to healthy responses. And even though the situations were true of what they experienced, their response to it was not healthy for them, no matter how true it was. Yeah, Sophia Anderson, I'm gonna struggle that one with you, because procrastination really comes out of self-love. And if you don't have a full well of self-love, that's why we procrastinate. We don't see the importance of it. We don't think what we have to do matters, because I bet you if someone came in and asked you to do something, you'd probably get that done. It's just certain things we just tend to procrastinate on because we really don't have self-love. And that's the hard part here, is trying to convince everyone that it's not really that you're a procrastinator. It's not really that you're really trying to be perfect. You're just trying to fill a void that you have for lacking self-love. But because no one's brought this to our attention, or we never knew that we didn't have self-love, you know, I always assumed that I was born with everything I need, and then I could just ruin it and lose it and destroy it as I live. But I found out that our parents have a way greater responsibility than they are even aware of, never mind what we are aware of. And there's just some things they just never got, and they never got them to us. Thank you, my dear. Thank you, Sophia. Yeah. So oftentimes things are not a priority to us because we just don't love ourselves enough to think of it as a priority. Yes, Cheryl, that's an honest statement. And it's only week 2, right? It's only week 2. So you're probably not completely convinced yet that the self-love thing really is what it is. So we're going to keep working this thing out. I'm going to keep ironing you out. I'm going to keep gutting you out. I'm going to keep digging in. I'm going to keep pulling out, and I'm going to keep pouring in. Because the main thing is to become self-aware. Self-aware. And I believe a lot of us can admit, we can confess that the walking really did make us feel better. Like just having, especially if you walked outside, it gave you a different landscape, a different horizon in which to look out at. And you know, your eyes, again, I say it almost every week or every day, maybe, your eyes sends all the signals to your brain on how you're going to handle things. So when you're doing this thing around the house and you're already not feeling up to it, you're already feeling depressed, you're just setting yourself up for more down, down, down. So it is very, very important for you to do this 30 and 30, guys. Come on, right now it's just going to be what? I keep looking over here at my trusty calendar. We are on day 10. So right now we only have 20 days left. So you got to give me 20 for 30. And we're just talking about 30 minutes. Give me 30 minutes for 20 more days. We run from something that will ultimately make us feel better. That's my first display of a comment tonight. We run from something that will ultimately make us feel better, but we will absolutely get in something that doesn't. Melissa says, come on, guys. So maybe at this point, y'all need to get some partners. Find out who lives close to you or who's willing to drive to you one day and you drive to them one day. Get your partner and get out there and get your last 20 days in at 30 minutes. Come on, we can do it. Now, when I started out, it wasn't every day, but it was to do the majority of the week. It was to do the 4 days at least out of the week. And if you haven't done that right now, we're at the countdown. I'm going to have to ask you to do every day, 30 minutes a day. Come on. And you don't have to rush. Remember, no comparison, no competing, just get out. And that's exactly correct, Charity. That's what I had said to the group last year. I think it was the year before in Soul Detox. I said, if we thought of a lot of our toxic ways as cancer, would we then prioritize getting help for the toxicity that's in our life? Because some of the stuff that we're dealing with, guys, will literally or can literally cause cancer. It's stress. It's toxic thinking. It sends messages to your body. We have to. It does not have to be outside. No, but I recommend if you can get outside because it's not just about physical fitness. What we're dealing with here is the holistic side to all human beings. We're dealing with the body, we're dealing with the spirit, and we're dealing with the soul. And the soul is the mind, the will, and the emotions. So getting outside physically, if you care for yourself, you care for yourself. So you would take care of yourself physically. But going outside increases the neurons that run from your brain and will help release the toxins. We'll go back to that chapter again. We'll release the toxins that are in our bodies that make us sick. This will help decrease dementia. It will decrease the chances of Alzheimer's. We got to get out and walk. We've got to get natural vitamin D. I know a lot of us right now are probably taking vitamin D pills right now, but there's nothing like the natural sunlight to get our vitamin D. We have to. And again, psychologically, you have to send accurate messages to your brain. If your eyes only see the inside of a home, which is not bright at all, I don't care how many lights you have on, it's false lighting. That right there is going to do something to the signals in your brain. When you get outside, it's like, whoo, breathing, seeing life out here. And it just makes a lot of differences in you. So you don't have to. None of this is a have to. I'm here for you. And I'm carrying you on my love right now until you can get your own. But it's very important, if you can, to get outside. All right. So try. Assessments are due today. Did everyone get their assessments in? Come on. Let's see hands. Did you get your assessments in? Vanessa Bolin will be on tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. If you can go to the Apostles House page on Facebook, she has a media device, part of the Apostles House, Kingdom Health Connections. And I'm sure she's going to be going over a lot of what I have just been able to put on the table. She is the medical professional. She's an APRN. And she can break down this much more clearly and in a much more professional way than I can. So if you can, tomorrow, set your alarm, 9 a.m., Kingdom Health Connections, the Apostles House Facebook page, and she'll give us a lot of facts and data and instructions to help stimulate what we're trying to start here. I started the treadmill again. Good girl. Facebook Live, 9 a.m. Absolutely. Beautiful. So I see hands. Assessments are going in. Assessment complete. Thumbs up. Hands raised. Yes. Get those assessments in. Awesome. I want to pick up tonight from what we were dealing with. How many understand the automatic thought log much clearer now? Let me see hands for that. If you understand the AT log, the daily thought log, the automatic thought log, if you understand the log a lot better, let me see hands for that. Good. If you have come out from your assessment realizing that your self-esteem is mild, mid to low, you need to do this every day, because literally I'm pretty positive literally every day you're having a problem. Literally every day you're having a problem. So I'm going to ask that you please carry that log with you. I know some of my young millennial daughters, they have it in their iPad, they have it in their notes, in their phone, and they have the log all typed up on their own, and they go in and fill it out. Like I said, 2 spiritual daughters of mine that I had talked to today had real dire situations, and they couldn't understand why these situations had taken them out as badly as they did. Like they just lost a whole day that they'll never get back in their life. And it wasn't about the incident. It wasn't about what she said or he said. It was about, if you don't have enough love in you, when trauma or conflict comes, it will wipe you out. It will wipe you out. You have to work on this, guys. 20 days left, and you've got to get this. And again, the blessing is going to be that after this, I'm going to offer the services of solutions to every single one of you. I'm going to recommend to everyone once a month counseling, just 1 appointment a month. And we're going to have it so dynamically structured for you to continue working on the self-love, helping you with the daily thought logs, addressing some of the situations with you, helping you become accountable and responsible, going through these distorted thinkings, helping you recognize them, and most of all, help you get strengthened. So maybe after a year of this, we can move on to some other perfecting areas in your personality that we want to improve on. Amen. Amen, Jackie Palmer. Welcome. So let's get it done. All right. So most of us, we got our lecture from Mama on the 20 days left, 30 minutes, and you're getting your lecture on the assessments. Get them in. Give them a few days to get back to you. They're dividing up everyone between 3 people. So it's a lot of you right now, and we don't want to rush them because we want the assessments to be accurate. They're accurate, and they will bless your life, guys. I promise you. I did them myself, and then I did them on my coach team, and I made recommendations from them. So they learned from me, depending on the area where you fall at, what is the recommendation. So let me give you an example again of something. Based on your assessment results from last Monday, it's going to be really exciting to see what your assessment results will be this week. Did the walking help you? Did the nightly education and information, did the nightly group sessions help you so that you are better aware of what you need to work on? Instead of overgeneralizing that it's everything, you can really narrow it down, that a lot of things in my life is going to change when I begin to work on this self-love. A lot of things are going to change now that I am aware that some of the things that I should have gotten in my family life and my childhood, I didn't get. So the person I am now isn't free because I'm not even free in Christ. Welcome, Joseph. God bless you, sir. All right. So we got our assessments done. Boom. We got 20 days left to give me 30 minutes. So let's get our 30 and 20. 30 and 20. Let's get it done. And for the rest of us, we're going to keep working our 30 and 30. Beautiful. All right. Let's talk. You feel the way you think. Someone can post that for me. You feel the way you think. You feel the way you think. Hey, John Booker. Good evening. Welcome. We went over assessments. We went over the 30 minutes for the remaining 20 days. We even suggested that you guys kind of connect up here on this site and encourage each other. Let's try to work with women and women and men with men, because, you know, when you got low self-esteem, remember what we talked about? Low self-esteem, you take anything as love. So let's not worry about hooking up right now. Let's get ourselves together so maybe the next hookup will be healthy and the next hookup can turn into marriage and you both can be healthy individuals. You'll know what to look for. All right. You feel the way you think. All right. I see it coming up here now. Thank you. You feel the way you think. When you are upset, you probably think about something bad that has happened to you. You may feel angry or discouraged because you lost your job, because you were criticized or rejected by someone you loved, or because you had to be hospitalized for emotional problems. We don't want that. And that's why I'm up here with you. It's natural to feel unhappy, but when bad things happen, what are some of the things that make you feel bad? Picture in your mind's eye a time when you felt sad and discouraged or worried or angry. It may have been recently or at any time in your life. Describe what happened to you here. Try to be specific. Who were you with? What happened? When was it? Where were you? I'm going to read it again. Picture in your mind's eye. So now I know you're sitting up and you're probably at your desk or you're in a posture so you can write. I want you to sit back. I want you to take a deep breathe in your nose. Remember, God breathed the breath of life into man and he became a living soul. Exhale. Come on, one more time in your nose. God breathed the breath of life into man and he became a living soul. Exhale. Come on, breathe in your nose again. God breathed the breath of life into man and he became a living soul. Exhale. Relax. Now follow me. Picture in your mind a time when you felt sad and discouraged or either worried or angry. It may have been recently or at any time in your life. Describe what happened. Try to be specific as possible. Who were you with? What happened? When was it? And where were you? So who were you with? What happened? When was it? Where were you? Now, once you finish the thought, I want you to sit up and I want you to just write down those basics real quick. And you can do the rest of it when we're done tonight, or you can pick it up tomorrow. Try to be specific. Who were you with? The who, what, when, and where. Who were you with? What happened? When was it? Where were you? Someone's saying yesterday. Take a couple seconds and write it down just so that you can remember it until we're done. Unfortunately, this isn't a private group therapy, so I have a timeline and I have to move on. But if we were on our private Zoom session and you were in your coaching session, we would take the time and unpack this entirely. But for now, write down the basics. That's right, Minister Jerry. Thank you. Thank you, Pastor D. Absolutely, Gwyneth. Very good. I got you, Sophia. I got you. All right. I got to move on. Now describe how you felt. How did you feel? You're probably feeling it right now. How did you feel? Some people have difficulty even describing their feelings. Yep. If you're doing it right, it's going to hurt. Very good explanation, John Booker. If you're doing it right, it should hurt. Good. Someone said angry. Some people have difficulty describing their feelings and they're numb. I have a client, right? And this young man, he smokes marijuana, likes his pot. He's not convinced that it's any problem in his life. And I don't push it because that's not my initial place in his life. You see, I don't attack what we see as sin in people's life. I bring them the trust and the love of a non-judgmental environment so that they can begin to share some things. And as they begin to share things, we can get down to some of their core beliefs on even the fact why they do what they do, even with alcohol and drugs and pills or some of the other addictions we carry in our lives. And I asked him, I said, if you really want to get the benefit out of these 30 days, what I'm going to ask you to do, I'm going to ask that you quit your recreational drugs for 3 days. Just give me 3 days. 3 days probably aren't going to help you much because when you stop smoking, the stuff is in your bloodstream and it's still producing a high on demand. But I want you to give me 3 days without it because we're going up now to our second assessment. And I expect this second assessment with you sober to have a different response than it did when you were smoking. Because when you use these things that we call for recreation, they can numb us. They can dull us. They can turn off the emotions. They can cause us to just be disconnected from what we're dealing with this, which is why most people choose things to feel better with or to get high. And I got a call and spoke with him today, and he shared with me that oddly enough, he didn't feel his anxiousness more by not smoking for these 3 days. He didn't feel that he was numbing himself with the drugs. He felt now that he was sober for these 3 days to retake the assessment, that he had such a clear mind that he felt like what he really was bothered with in his life was made to seem worse because of the marijuana. And now that I'm not smoking and I got a clear mind, it's like, wow. I mean, life seems better. All these things he just went on to share with me. And I totally didn't expect that. I expected for the numbness to go away, for the denial to go away, and for him to really see the aspect of what his life is really like. But instead, he had to admit that the marijuana kept him feeling down, kept him rehearsing the same sad thoughts over and over again, kept him feeling as though everything was bad, kept the anxiety higher The marijuana kept the anxiety higher. And now that he's given himself these 3 days to get off, not only does he feel better, he doesn't even feel the anxiety of what he used to do. This is amazing, guys. It's amazing the power that is in your mind, that we really don't have to substitute what God has given us with making accommodations with other things in the earth to feel good and to be happy. You should not have to depend on anything or anyone else to make you feel happy. Your dependence should be, something's wrong with me because I don't feel good being me. I've got to get high every day because I don't like being in me. Often what we'll say is, I don't want to be in this house or with her or with him, or my life is so bad that I have to get high. But it's really not. It's you, because it's your distorted thinking of your situations. And when you choose to stay high or addicted, because it doesn't have to be pills or smoke or alcohol. It could be your eating addiction. You're eating, he got a bottle up and this one's got a smoke up to their mouth. Same thing. It's fulfilling a void. It's an addiction. You're trying to cope. So if I'm speaking to anyone else here on this platform that you are doing things like this, I'm going to ask for your benefit that when the next week assessment come, give yourself a few days to be sober. Do not feel any of your addictions. Do not go shopping. Do not have different eating habits. Eat your 3 square meals a day, 2 snacks, and 8 ounces of water every 3 to 4 hours. And then Monday, take that assessment. And let's see how you feel without these addictions of drugs and cigarettes. I wish I can hit some of y'all with the prescription medication. But if you have a prescription medication that you do not have to take every day, like a depressant pill, a high blood pressure pill, or a sugar pill, you can't mess with those because you got to work with your doctor to get you to wean you off of those. But if I can get y'all to clear yourselves out for 3 days up until your assessment on Monday, I'd really like to see the picture of health, mental health that really shows up in your life. Amen. Amen. Let me keep reading on. So you had this situation and you're being specific about it, who you were with, what happened, when was it, where were you? And I want you to understand that I need you to know how you felt. Write down how you felt. Go ahead and write it down. Write down how you felt. Some people have difficulty even describing their feelings. Some people have difficulties even describing their feelings, but it's really quite easy. The feeling words that we're going to talk about right now will make it a little clearer for you. I want you to look at these major categories of negative feelings, and then I want you to choose the words that best describe your bad feelings. List as many as them that connect with you. Let's go here first. We're going to go ahead and do the words, and then we'll move into my talk about it. Feeling. I'm going to give you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 feeling words. 8 feeling words. You ready? First one, angry. First one, angry. Now, let me tell you what other words express anger. So if you're writing any of these other ones down and you don't hear me mention it, the main category of the word, you got the tree of anger, and this is the fruit from it. Are you ready? Mad, resentful, upset, PO'd, irritated, furious, ticked off, incensed, enraged. All those are anger. If you felt any of those with this situation, write it down. Second word, anxious. Anxious. Let me give you some of the connections to the word anxious. Worried, panicky, nervous, afraid, fearful, concerned, scared, frightened, uneasy. If you felt any of those, write down anxious. Thank you for all of my coaches online. Everyone's a coach tonight. Praise God. Don't forget to coach yourself. Third word, third feeling word, embarrassed. Embarrassed. If you felt any of these, categorize it under embarrassed. Foolish, self-conscious, flustered. If you felt foolish, self-conscious, or flustered, that goes under the feeling of embarrassed. All right, let's go on. Guilty. Guilty. If you felt any of these words that I'm about to say, put it all under guilty. Ashamed. At fault. Bad. If you felt ashamed, at fault, or bad, put that under guilty. Feeling words. We're just dealing with feeling words. Doesn't mean it's accurate. Feelings are not facts. We talked about that 2 nights in a row. Our next feeling word, hopeless. Hopeless. If you felt any of these next 3 words, categorize it under hopeless. Discouraged. Pessimistic. Desperate. Discouraged. Pessimistic. Desperate. If you felt any of those, put it under hopeless. See how hope deferred makes the heart sick? If you felt discouraged, you have a broken heart, especially if it's been there a long time. Pessimistic. If you felt desperate, you felt hopeless. Next one, lonely. If you felt any of these next 3 words, categorize it under lonely. Abandoned. Alone. Rejected. If you felt abandoned, alone, or rejected, put it under lonely. Good work, guys. Y'all lighten it up tonight. I bless you. You all get a sticker. You get a sticker, and you get a sticker, and you get a sticker, and you get a sticker. Good job. Feelings aren't facts. Write them down. Okay. Pastor Kareem said it's heavy tonight, so let's take a moment to breathe. I agree with him. Whew. Come on, let's breathe in our nose. God breathed the breath of life into man, and he became a living soul. Breathe out. Some of y'all got a little dizzy, right? Let's breathe in one more time. In your nose, God breathed the breath of life into man, and he became a living soul. Breathe out. All right. Our next word, we got 2 more. Sad. If you felt any of the next 6 words, categorize it under sad. Bummed out. Depressed. Down. Disappointed. Unhappy. Hurt. If you felt any of those 6 words, categorize it under sad. I don't know if y'all just writing down what I'm saying, or are you making confessions on here right now? Prudence, Elitza, Dee, Diana, Tasha, Carla, were you sad, or are you just helping us coach on the screen tonight? Put them all under sad. Last one, aside of anxious, very popular one, stressed. If any of these next 6 words connect with your feelings, I want you to categorize them under stressed. Number 1, overwhelmed, pressured, burned out, overworked, tense, uptight. If you felt any of those today, categorize it under stressed. Because we have feelings and then we have words that express feelings. So I gave you the categorizing, that was the feeling. And then I gave you the feeling words that expressed how you felt. Great job. Come on, take a moment, stretch. Take a moment and stretch, because some of y'all are feeling tension in your shoulders. You're feeling it in your neck. You're feeling tension in your back. Come on, stretch a little bit. Bend it out. I know it might seem a little different or odd or weird to you, but I'm telling you, your body holds all the energy that flows through it from stress. And that's why the Bible's big on confession. The Catholics are big on confession. Christians need to be bigger on confession. Confess your faults. Get it out. You're in the best seat in the house. No judgment zone. You need to be in a no judgment zone if you're in your own house. What are you smiling, Jeanette? My neck popped. I bet it did. Tense. Welcome, Michelle Lopez. Could you repeat the words for embarrassed? For you, my dear, I will. Embarrassed, foolish, self-conscious, flustered. Foolish, self-conscious, flustered. If you felt any of those today, you felt embarrassed. Neck tension, all 8. Pastor, I understand the call and then life itself on top of it. Do you know what causes these bad feelings? Do you know what causes these bad feelings? Scientists and philosophers have been speculating about this for centuries. Some people believe their bad moods result from their hormones or body chemistry. They may think that they have a medical condition, hormone problems, a chemical imbalance, an allergy, or a vitamin deficiency that makes them feel gloomy and irritable. Certainly, there is some truth to these thoughts. Medications such as lithium and antidepressants can be quite helpful for certain kinds of emotional problems. And this suggests that brain chemistry does play an important role in the way we think, the way we feel, and the way we behave. Other people think they get upset because of the bad things that happen to them. You may have been treated badly by a loved one or betrayed by a friend or a colleague at work. Reports of child abuse and domestic abuse, violence suggest that these tragic problems may be far more common than we once believed. It's certainly normal to feel intense hurt and anger when someone you trusted has taken advantage of you. It can sometimes be quite difficult to develop feelings of optimism and self-respect ever again. Has this ever happened to you? Were you ever betrayed by a friend or abused by another person? Some people believe they get depressed for yet another reason. They feel defective and inferior and believe that there is something deeply wrong with them. They tell themselves they aren't confident, charming, pretty, or smart enough to feel happy and worthwhile. They compare themselves to others who appear to be more confident and successful. Then they decide, I'm not like that. How could I ever be happy? I'm just a second-rate human being, born a loser. especially from the family I'm born into. Do you ever think like that? Does this sound at all like you? Finally, some people get depressed because of difficulties in their careers or personal relationships. Many of us base our self-esteem on being successful at work, at school, in church, and in our relationships with others. Then, when we lose our jobs or get rejected by someone we love, we feel devastated. Did you ever have this experience? Did you ever have this experience? All of these ideas have some degree of truth. Certainly, your moods are influenced by your body chemistry and by the good and bad things that happen to you. But all of these theories have one big disadvantage. They all have a tendency to make you a victim of circumstance beyond your control. I feel it. I feel it coming through y'all on the screen. She said, there is fire tonight. I feel it coming through the screen. It's in the airways. It's a healing balm. Your moods can influence by your body chemistry and by the good and bad things that happen to you. But all of these theories have one big disadvantage, soulmates. They all have a tendency to make you a victim of circumstances beyond your control. This is because you can't ordinarily change your body chemistry unless you take a pill. And you certainly can't change the world or prevent bad things from happening to you from time to time. There are very few of us, including famous and successful people, who can escape from tragedy and disappointment during our lives. In this next part of the program, you will learn about a simple but revolutionary idea that can give you much greater control over the way you feel. Feel. The idea is not new. In fact, it goes all the way back to Greek philosophers. Epictetus, and he quotes this: men are not disturbed by things, but by the views they take of them. This means that your thoughts, not actual events, create your mood. Who's going to write that down? Your thoughts, not actual events, creates your moods. Absolutely. G Money. Absolutely. In other words, the bad things that happen do not really cause us to become upset. We get upset because of the way we think about these events. Thank you, Clarissa. Very good. Your thoughts, not the actual events, create your moods. In other words, the bad things that happen, do not really cause us to become upset. As much as you think it was her or him or it or the place or whatever the situation, it really is not the event that causes us to become upset. We become upset because of the way we think about these events. You can control the destination of your mind. You can control the destination of your mind. It's not who did it, where it happened, why it happened, who was around when it happened. It was the way you process the event. I'm going to give you this in caption. Only one person in this world can ever make you feel depressed, worried, or angry, and that person showed up tonight. It's you. If you can grab this concept in our 30 days together, it will change your life. It would bring you out of procrastination. It will bring you out of codependency. It will bring you up from low self-love and low self-esteem and low confidence. Only one person in this entire world can ever make you feel depressed, worried, or angry. And that person is you. Look around the room. Nobody else there. You. This idea can change your life. If you are rejected or lose your job, you may feel sad and self-critical because you tell yourself things like, I'm no good. There must be something wrong with me. You may also feel angry and frustrated because you tell yourself life is just so unfair. Why is this always happening to me? These negative thoughts are quite natural. In fact, they're automatic. Nearly all of us think this way from time to time. It can improve, guys. It can get better. When you learn to change these thoughts, you can change the way you feel. Who's going to post that for me? When you change your thoughts, you can change the way you feel. When you change your thoughts, you can change the way you feel. So go back and look at that issue that you wrote down all this stuff about, and woo, was going to take your day, probably took your day, caused you to lose sleep. And now look at it again. Powerful, powerful. Thoughts are natural. All of us think this way from time to time. When you learn to change your thoughts, you can change the way you feel. Good stuff. Y'all getting it. For example, let me give you one of my examples. We're going to deal with Tyrone. Tyrone was laid off from work along with several other employees of his company because his business had slowed down. He felt bummed out, worried, angry, and guilty. What do you think his negative thoughts were? What would you be thinking if you were Tyrone? You will find his negative thoughts later on in this program. That's if you were my students in the class, I would be showing this to you. But it can help you figure out the bad thoughts that actually upsets him. Think of a time when you felt really bad. If you like, you can even use an upsetting event and describe it and go through it yourself. We did that already. I want you to ask yourself, what was I thinking when I felt upset? What was I thinking when I felt upset? What did I tell myself when I felt sad, angry, or worried? Write down your negative thoughts. Go ahead. And we're going to learn how to unpack these together. So far, you have learned that your feelings result more from the way you think about things than the way they actually happened. What accounts for the fact that we can have so many different kinds of feeling? It's because specific kinds of feelings result from specific kinds of thoughts. Can somebody write that one for me? specific kinds of feelings result from specific kinds of thoughts. Yep. Good stuff. I'm reading you guys' comments. 123 of you on these platforms tonight commenting. Please don't forget to go up and hit like. There's 124 of you on, but only 6 of you actually gave any kind of response to make someone else want to look at the video. And we want others to look at it. So we want to click like so that others will be like, oh, 124 people liked it. Let me check it out. So far, you've learned that your feelings result more from the way you think about things than from what actually happened. What accounts for the fact that we can have so many different kinds of feelings? It's because specific kinds of feelings result from specific kinds of thoughts. To take a trivial example, you might feel angry if you caught the flu and told yourself, this is unfair. I'm too busy for this nonsense. Why does this always have to happen to me, especially when I have such an important deadline? In contrast, you might feel relieved if you thought about it like this. I've been working too hard. Now I have a good excuse to crawl into bed with my favorite time to pray, or now I have a chance to read more of the scriptures that I wanted to read. This is a sign that I have not been taking care of my body. I've been running her or him down. So now it's time for me to get some self-care before something major happens to my life. So wake up call. The world won't come to an end. All or nothing thinkers. The world will not come to an end. In both cases, the actual event is the same. Both of these cases, the flu was the event. What changed? The feelings are created by the different ways we think. And I bet you one got over the flu quicker than the other one. Anybody want to guess which one probably got over the flu quicker than the other one? The basic idea is exceedingly important. But I know you may not yet entirely agree with me. You may still think that other people or lousy circumstances can upset you no matter what you're thinking. I understand your point of view very much. I've gone through this with hundreds of people. Let me ask you a question. How are you feeling right now as I've read this? Do you feel skeptical? If so, you are probably telling yourself that you aren't convinced by this discussion yet. Do you feel angry? If so, you may be telling yourself that this whole program is only enlightening and embellishing what you've already been dealing with. Do you feel sad or discouraged? Maybe you're thinking that these methods are not helping you. Do you feel excited and hopeful? If so, you're probably telling yourself that this program, I'm going to get the most of these 30 days because this could be very interesting and helpful to my life. Even how you process these thoughts that we just had shows what you really think about even taking the time to do this for yourself. Some people don't want to do it at all. They registered their own names and then they sent emails and said, I'm not going to be in the program this year. They got out. Why? Because it takes a lot of courage to face this part of your life. And some people, guys, the older we get, we just don't want to change. We don't want to do the work that allows us to change. We want to stay the same. It's too late. It's over. Oh, I've got the people in my life now. They already love me. So we're just going to work this out the way I am. They are convinced that they are what they are and who they are, and nothing's going to change about them. So I give you credit for sticking with this, monitoring your feelings, analyzing your thoughts, becoming logical thinkers, changing your thought to a healthy response, managing the course and the destination of your mind. Powerful. Distorted thinking. Let me read it again. All or nothing thinking. Overgeneralizing. You have a mental filter. What does that mean? You dwell on the negatives and ignore the positives. Discounting the positives. Jumping to conclusions. Magnification or minimization. Remember the magnifying glass? Your glass always reduces your strength, your talents, your abilities. When you flip it over, it strengthens everyone else's strength, courages, abilities, and decreases yours. Emotional reasoning. You reason from how you feel. The should statements. You criticize yourself or other people with shoulds, shouldn'ts, musts, oughts, and have tos. Labeling. Instead of saying, I made a mistake, you tell yourself, I'm a jerk or I'm a loser. Labeling, judging yourself. Labeling. And then blame. My. You can change the way you feel. You can change the way you feel. Now we've come to a bit of crunch time. How can you put these ideas to practical use and feel better? The final and most important idea is that when you change those illogical, self-critical thoughts, you can change the way you feel. Let us use this idea to help Tyrone. Once you've had some practice changing people's thoughts, we can begin to work on the negative thoughts and feelings. Let's go. It's a bit more difficult to change your own thoughts because they seem so real, right? That's why we use these examples here. We give you these pseudo names or real situations, but pseudo names so that we can help you understand. Sometimes looking at things objectively is easier. Like you would never treat yourself the way you would never treat others the way you treat yourself. So you look at it objectively. So we're going to do that with these examples. And then we're going to look at ourselves subjectively. All right. In the way you feel, let us use the idea to help Tyrone. Thoughts and feelings. It's a bit more difficult to change your own thoughts because they seem so real. You will need a little more practice to do this. So let's see what we can do to help poor Tyrone. Put yourself in Tyrone's shoes. Excuse me. Imagine that you lost your job. You are thinking, I'm a born loser. This is what Tyrone was doing. What could you tell yourself in place of this negative thought? Can you think of a more positive and realistic thought to substitute for it? See if you can write a positive thought in the right-hand column of your sheet that you've already started your log on. And I want you to make it affirming. I want it to be realistic, and I want it to not have any negative thought in it. Do you remember he lost his job? And do you remember how he felt about losing his job? I want you to think about yourself. If you lost your job, what are some of the feelings you can change from Tyrone's? Tyrone's feelings was, I'll go over them with you again. I'm a born loser. I'll never get another job. I'm letting my family down. Let's look at this first. I'm a born loser. What is he doing? I want to see if anyone can put the answer up. What is he doing out of the distorted thinking that I just rattled down? When you call yourself a born loser, what are you doing out of all those thoughts? Labeling. Go ahead, Jerry Towns. Montre, you better know it. Very good. That's labeling. He's labeling himself. He said, I'll never get another job. Look at y'all. Y'all all grown up now. Now make sure you notice when you label yourself. So his next statement was, I'll never get another job. What is he doing there? Yep. I'll never get another job. What's he doing? What's the distorted thinking there? I'll never get another job. This is a mix of a couple of them. Victim mentality, I'll take that one. He's taking one situation and making an overall judgment of his life. That's definitely what he's doing. He's assuming. He's assuming. So now yes, Elder Manny. Awesome. Very good. Who else do I see? He's assuming. He's absolutely assuming. All of a sudden now you'll never get another job. He's overgeneralizing. He's assuming. He's catastrophizing the whole thing. Come on, look at y'all. Now see, when we look at Tyrone, we can see the behaviors. And this all comes out of low self-esteem. People with high self-esteem don't do this. They'll say, okay, I got to go and make some adjustments to how I handle things or how I look at things or how I was prepared for this situation and redo it. But they don't start calling themselves names, giving themselves labels, overgeneralizing, over catastrophizing. They don't do it. All right, let's deal with the last thing he said. I'm letting my family down. How many men feel like that? I hear that a lot. Over exaggerating, that is correct. Let's stick with the words that we gave. If y'all need me to post them, I can post them tonight as well, just so you have that list, because I need you to use it on yourself. All right, Mishi feel like preaching. I'm letting my family down. What is he doing? Oh, that was a good one. I see you, Nanita. I see you, Ebony. I'm letting my family down. He's personalizing. He's blaming himself, over exaggerating. Ooh, y'all getting trained while you getting delivered. All right, Renee, I'll make sure we post those words after. The distorted thinking list. I'm going to post it. So when you go ahead and work out your automatic thoughts after your event, you're going to go down there and say, woo, in these thoughts today, I labeled myself. I blamed myself. I blamed my job. I over-personalized the situation. I'll do that. Blaming himself. I'm letting my family down. Is he assuming again? Did anyone come to him and say, you're letting me down? No. Even if it could happen, even if she has done it before, guys, we only deal with the facts at the time of the event of the feelings that you're having. And no one has come to him and told him you are a complete letdown in this family. He's assuming, he's blaming, he's over personalizing. Do you get it? Every reader reads exactly the same words on this page, and yet each of you will have different feelings about what I'm sharing with you. Do you know why? Because the same words that I'm speaking can possibly cause 10 different people to have 10 different kinds of emotions. If the words on the page or out of my mouth aren't creating your emotions, then you must be creating your own feelings. Ooh, God, deliver us tonight. If the words that I'm saying out of my mouth aren't creating your emotions, then you must be creating your own feelings. Do you see what I mean? Your thoughts, not events, create your moods. A number of different kinds of feelings are listed that I'm going to post tonight for you. I want you to write them down. I want you to look at the type of events that might trigger each kind of feeling. And we're going to go through that some more on tomorrow night as we wrap it up. But I've got to close now on this part. How you doing tonight? Are you blessed? You got a lot to think about, don't you? You got a lot to think about. All right, I want to close with this statement tonight. We're 9 minutes after our hour, but I think this deserves it. And I hope you guys are patient with it. I want to talk to you just briefly in closing on the price of happiness. The price of happiness. What do you think it will take for you to achieve your goals and make some significant changes in your life? What is the key to self-esteem and happiness? In my experience, over the last 7 years, I have had the opportunity to work on myself and to work with many men and women from all walks of life with a wide variety of issues, problems, or situations. I've seen some people who responded well to the coaching and quickly, and others who required a long, persistent effort to recover. I have discovered that one of the most important keys to recovery, regardless of age, sex, or race, is the willingness to help yourself. Some people do not seem to understand or accept this simple idea. They are quite happy to complain endlessly about how bad things are as long as they don't have to do anything to solve their own problems. They see themselves as victims of unfair circumstances and wait passively by for someone or something to fix things for them. Sadly, they don't usually happen. Years later, they are still feeling miserable, waiting for justice or magic to make their lives better. Of course, this passive approach to personal growth has sometimes been reinforced by even the mental health professionals and the media. The stereotype of psychotherapy portrayed in popular books and movies is lying on the couch and saying whatever comes into your mind, while a kindly psychoanalysis listens and nods knowingly from time to time. After years and years, something wonderful is supposed to happen. Although a warm and caring relationship with someone you trust can often make you feel much better, I want you to get better. That means working hard to make real changes in your life now and in the future. I've worked with people over the years who worked hard during sessions and between sessions to develop greater self-esteem. They did not blame the world, but assumed personal responsibility for changing their lives. Their hard efforts paid off handsomely because they recovered the most rapidly. As I mentioned in the introduction to this program, research studies have demonstrated that self-help, guided self-help, does work. This is why I want to ask you right now, are you willing to pay the price of happiness? Are you willing to do something active to change your life in addition to reading and participating in this program? Put a check mark on the screen in one of these statements that I'm going to make to you. I want you to put one check mark if you are willing to do all the assignments. One check mark. Go. If you have decided that I'm just going to watch online and I'm not going to participate in my life, I don't want to pay the price for happiness, I want you to put 2 check marks. Be honest to yourself. Be fair. 2 check marks if you just want to watch and you do not want to pay the price for happiness. I want you to put up 3 check marks if you haven't decided yet. We're 10 days in. We're a third of the way in. 3 check marks if you are still undecided if you're going to participate. Because if you're going to participate, it means no more than an hour after we sign off of this, you are going to have your assessments in. Those assessments are going to be in on time, and they're going to be in tonight, because you got to make up your mind tonight that I'm going to commit to the work, the time, the assessments, the vulnerability, the exposure, because I want a life of happiness. God promised it. Now he sent a representative to help me get it. 1 check mark, I will do all the assignments and participate in the program. Number 2, 2 check marks, nope, I don't want to do them. 3, check marks, I haven't decided yet. Do you see the attitude that you have right now? This is either the attitude you've got to defeat, or this is the attitude you've got to carry out after I'm no longer on your screen night after night after night. Did I make my point clear to you tonight? I know you have lots of good excuses for not doing all of this written assignments and assessments, but I want you to understand the reason why you need to do it. You need to do this so that it can change your life. That's all I can say to you. I'm coming in clear through the airways without distraction. Look at the 1 check marks. God bless you all. God bless you. God bless you. God bless you. Get those assessments in. Don't worry about who, what, where. It's not them. It's you. You have got to get to a place now where I want help, whether God sent a donkey, whether he sent a rock, or whether he sent another human being who might judge me. I want to pay the price for happiness in my life. You're not going to miss us, Ashley, because you're going to stay with us. You're going to continue in coaching. And I'm going to be up here weekly with you guys. And then you're going to have coaching once a month. You're going to make it just fine. Amen. All right. My time is well spent. Thank you for your time. I laughed as I saw the numbers dropped. People didn't want to go through this and have to put up the 3 check marks. I saw one person, I believe, honest enough to put up 3 check marks to say they're still not sure. The rest of them was yes, yes, yes. And the other one's logged off. See, the soul is a touchy business. And when you start touching people's soul, woo, it's almost like you're touching their deepest, darkest secrets. And they want help, but they don't want to let anyone in to get them out. My name is Apostle Suzanne Howard. I am your solutionist coach, coming to you live from the Solutions Coaching Center. And I am wishing above all things that you prosper and be in good health, even as your soul prospers. God bless you. Good night. And I love you. And see you tomorrow night, 8 p.m.
Let it let it